And we are off. All right, how's everybody in? Welcome in. Welcome in. Please come in. Please come in. Make yourself at home as we welcome you with open arms and connective vibe. We want to bring connectedness to them who are seeking connectiveness because they are raising their consciousness and because they're doing the work and they know there's more than what had met the eye before as they came out of sleep and matter, start getting out of the matter of bed by the matter of fact, right? Think about these things when I say them, because I'll say things that lead to things. That's just kind of how I've been in my consciousness. So when you start being a decoder or an esoteric one, always looking for the symbol signs and esotericism, you will sometimes catch my drift, and I'm not talking Tokyo. I'm talking you'll catch the drift of where I'm going to you with the leading you. And why I say that is I just want to say that I thank you guys all for being here. I think the messages and I think the comments on the videos that just have been awesome, just great. We just a few days ago we had a video come out, and now it might be when this comes out, it'll be 4 or 5 days as I'm recording, because I'm in the lab today. I call it the lab. Definitely gonna put the work in today in my recordings. I just want you to know that the connectedness that I feel and experience are available even for others, and those who even expand beyond me, welcome in or with me. Man, we just want to vibe together. But one of the things that I'm going to say, especially for my younger ones, newer ones, definitely the importance of discernment is to activate your discernment. And that video that you just heard just recently that I had put out, right, about, that's some good stuff, right, about the marriage of the intellectual mind, the intellect and the intuition. And then the video that came after that about it producing discernment in a very, very much just not 3D level, right? We talked about that, but even into the above levels. The discernment's important because we have a lot of psyops that come into spaces appearing to be with you, but are not with you, are not of you. Some get exalted real quick and appear to be bringing stuff that really is not so. And that's facts. That's why I'm on a harp, or really discernment's good. Knowing discernment, allowing discernment to take its place, and allowing it, because it's going to also get rid of things that don't need to be, which would be more a male aspect, right? Because women want to mother all the time and want to bring in the gather together, but there's a time that that one don't need to be gathered because they're not really of you, and that's just facts. And discernment will be the one that will discern, so that you can kind of know, yeah, and definitely, and even the psyops for the positions of certain things that are in certain areas that seem to be fitting and connecting, but when you discern, you go, controlled oppositions everywhere. We're talking today, so we're going to go into, definitely we got something going today that we're going to go into, right? And we're going to share it as a word of the day. You guys like the WOTDs, I know you do. So we're going to go into WOTD. Definitely going to go into WOTD. We got a great word for the day. Yes, we do. We got a great word for the day. And that word, that's just part of it. That's not the full word, but it is part of it. And that word is denial. And you go, why denial? Deny. Because I'm looking at the frequency and vibration of what this word really means. And I know in the esoteric realms, there's a scripture that talks about, in the exoteric realms, about you're unworthy if you don't learn to deny yourself, right? In taking on the religious God or propagation of what this is saying, but I know exoteric, that's what it says. Esoteric would not be what it means. It's not really about denying in that scripture, unless you deny yourself and follow me and deny yourself. It's talking about denying the lower ego of a false reality, false light, deceptive light, and also the false of having the ego and everything inverted. You deny the inversion of everything being upside down or the lower parts of the ego. Notice I'm not saying higher parts of the ego, because that's another story that we have to look at as I'm learning more and more and seeing more and more these aspects of one side to the other are in every aspect, where we try to take the good side and then demonize the other side, or try to even say it's not part of, is I'm finding more and more is not true. You have to synthesize it, alchemize it, synthesize it, separate it, combine them after you bring them down to the lowest common denominator, how they would operate in littler space, like I did the thing about the what was it called, when we went into maximum fragmentation, then I did the something gram, and I can't remember the first part of the gram. There's that, but anyways, there's a video on it that I did that it was made smaller so it can fit being sent. And what am I saying is, this is what you would deny is the part of you that's being propagated as being you when it's not really you, which would be your lower self, but more in an egoic form of lower ego. You would have to deny that. And when he says follow me, he's really saying follow your higher self into your over soul. So let's look at what really denial and denying is all about. This is heavy when you see it put together. Refusal to grant what is requested or desired. So right away, somebody not doing an act that seems to be important or was requested or even desired. The sense of act of asserting to the contrary, contradicting, forget the years, but it's 1570s, that a refusal to accept or knowledge. Wow. It really means self-denial, and that's what I'm talking about. The true self is what I'm talking about. The word really originates when you get etymology is great. This is where you guys getting the word a day, starting to understand these words are not what they seem to mean. They're usually used in the craft to cast spells on us, because we use words that don't fit, that really deteriorate us more than build us, right? It's bad self-talk, but even in the language, there's a lot of words that we use that we reveal here. It's not what you think it means. Kind of like when we did the decode of Stairway to Heaven, it says every word has two meanings. That's the English language. Equivocal languages have more than two meanings, more than one meaning, two to even more, three, even sometimes there, what they are there, and what's the other there, they are, and there, or whatever, is three aspects of it. But what you're talking about really is speaking things on yourself that you think that this is what they mean, but the frequency and vibration is actually like a denial. It's not the truth of it. It's like the people say, we've been kind of converted to use the word nice, talking about somebody being very pleasant, being very kind, right? But we also know when you go on the word, it means ignorant, stupid. Just anybody can be taken advantage of. So when the word nice really has nothing to do with somebody having a great value system or integrity, it would be more somebody who is stupid. And I believe when we mirror that, we know where that comes from, right? I do. Hope you see through what I'm saying without me totally saying it. They laugh at us a lot when we fall for okie dokes. I'll put it that way, maybe a little bit more of a clear cue on that. Sometimes people call them or they. Funny, but it is. But when I see that, it's the denial of self, and I'm looking at the fullness of self as you go into higher self, right? Is meaning unconscious suppression of painful or embarrassing feelings, what would be the ego, right? As you start doing the work on yourself and feeling maybe in a certain aspect you might have felt embarrassed about it, because it's talking about self-development here, and you like lie, deny it, not really go for it. But we know we're here to really, this process that we're going through is a healing process, which denial does not back nor help. You're actually denying yourself, and that's what even the scripture means in the highest level in the New Testament. When he's saying deny yourself, is really not about denying true self, because the one it says to follow is the true self, because they're one. And the one that you're denying is the one that pretends to be in charge, which is the lower aspects of ego, but really needs to fall back and learn and listen and fall and do what it properly can do in its higher aspect of itself. That's all of us. We can fall back into our lower self, or we can come up into our higher self. How are we going to operate? We got inverted. Up is down and down is up. Things that shouldn't be in charge are in charge. Things that should be the leader aren't the leader, they're the ones being the followers within the system of self. If I can get any clearer, think about this. So notice what it says, the denial, right? Into psychology of everyday, hence the denial. Watch deny. To declare to be untrue or untenable, deny, withhold. This is everything that we do when we block ourselves. Withholding, denying, rejecting, refusing, untrue, right? Even to the fact, refuse to grant or give, refuse not to acknowledge. You disavow, you disown yourself. And then it goes right into self-denial. Act of denying one's own wishes, refusal to satisfy one's own desires. This denying here is, I'm telling you, we've always looked at it as denying from a religious aspect that is exoteric and it's upside down. It's not the leader. This is really about, when I'm looking at how important this is to understand this as we grow in consciousness, quit denying who you are. And that means even being vulnerable to your hurts, your pains, your consequences, the things you went through, your karmic life, your pains, your sufferings, anything you went through that has brought you down, denying that it has, when you don't accept and become vulnerable, because the confession of being an embarrassment really is the ego trying to cover up and hide behind a tree or go clothe itself when it gets confronted, like the book of Genesis. Did you hear what I say? Why did this character come in and said, who told you, when they actually accessed something that was higher? This character wanted to keep control and power. Come on, I'm going to call out the demiurge as it is, the Yahweh character. So we got inverted by these concepts, totally inverted, upside down cross. When you flip yourself vertically, it reverses. Up is up and down was down. And as you're starting to, you go vertical again, the head's up and the feet are down. The head's not down and the feet up. When you get it right, you're organizing. Guess what? You have to reverse engineer every aspect of self to understand that you're just denying the vertication you had before, and you're just like correcting ego. No, you're not the leader. Now, you can be a guide in your proper momentum when you're in your proper space, but quit trying to be the leader, because your leadership's not quality, because that's not what you do. You can guide, which is a type of leadership, when you're in your higher place of what you're for, and we can experience it. Let's see if there's any other words on this that we could come up with. Phones, I don't want to hear. Here's some trends of denial. Here's a chart, actually. More to explore. Defense, action of guarding, shielding, attack or injury, defending and fighting, fortified place of refuge. So in the demure, right? Pause, a delay. Wow, I like that. Demure. A pause and delay. I like the defensive part too, because you're on your heels, you're defensive. Showing that you're defensive. A pause, delay. Now, when I see pause and delay, I start thinking about glitchings. That's what comes to me. And when I see demure, I'm saying, how close is demure to demiurge? Because I see it in the language of etymology that it's not too far off. So, pleading to the effect that even conceding facts to be alleged, or the opponent not entitled to legal relief. But anyways, we will skip to something else. But all these negative aspects of doing something over, if you know, is denial. Let's go over here. This is really going to open up some stuff too. This is a really good one on the what does it mean vocabulary, right? Denial is a refusal, often means a refusal to believe or accept something as the truth. And this is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about we start denying as we go up into the different levels of our consciousness, as we start aligning ourselves from inverted to vertical. Inverted back into the vertical, proper place, organized structure, or order, right? When asked if he ate a powdered donut, he gave a flat denial. Since his face was covered with powdered sugar, the denial was ludicrous, meaning that, that's funny, is to be fooling yourself about the reality of your situation. And when I see that, what first thing that comes to my mind is when I see the story, or what's being used in the story, is the proof was in the pudding on the face. So think about this. Face is what you are, what you look like, even reflection. But it shows that this is childlike immaturity from a child place. From a child place. One more time, from a child place. Not an experienced person that's went through stuff, that's going into maturity. This is a spiritual consciousness of somebody who's still confused or just immature. I thought about this, or think about this before. We see with a lot of the inorganic, through the years, even our kids, even maybe it was around for me, I'm not sure, I never asked about how people started decreasing breastfeeding, the natural concept of the organic way that babies eat, and all animals and every species eats from their mother's breastises, right? Breastises. That reminds me, I could hear my teenage sons talking back in the day. From some show they watched. Wouldn't doubt if it's Beavis or Butthead or something back in the day, but funny. But from that aspect of the breast, drinking from the breast, right? Getting the authentic person's milk that's for the person, right? And then we got formulas, baby milk formulas with vitamins and minerals and nutrients. Look how good it's for you. But then it gave, look at the name of the biggest company, the one who really expanded first in this genre of powder, was Simulac. And I thought about it. Notice the word Simulac is the simulation lacks, because it's not organic. Decode everything. It's in the language. That's what I'm saying. Decode everything. Where's it at? It's in the language. They're actually always telling you. Let's see, what does a person mean when they're in denial? Refusing to admit truth or reality, something unpleasant. And what I want to say about this in closing, this is we're going to go off this now, is that you get, when you do these things, you open the door to be very illusionary and delusionary, because these things start becoming your reality because you deny so much yourself. The triggers to awaken to yourself, you keep denying them. You keep denying them in each path, each lifetime, running from them, maybe fear, whatever basis. Not everybody's like this. I mean, when I think about that, it's hard for me to realize that there's people like that, but I know there is. I've actually seen denial before in this way, not just denying of a kid eating candy bar or hands got in the cookie bar. We all did that as a real physical youth. I can even share a story of me that still to this day makes my family members, cousins, and the one tell about this time that I had this situation, I think I was 10, with the neighbors. We were playing baseball, and they were acting a way that I didn't find comparable to playing baseball, or I would say in that day, why are you acting like a sissy? Why are you acting like a sissy? And he had did some things, walked off, took the bat through the ball somewhere, got upset because he had struck out or his team lost. I forget what it was. And then later that day, they came to borrow some sugar, and I was 10 years old, young laddie, right? Immature boy, not even hitting puberty still playing with Army men and thinking one day I was going to be the starting wide receiver for the USC Trojans and the Oakland Raiders back in those days. I actually said, well, I'll get the sugar for you. Didn't tell parents, didn't ask parents, went and got it myself, but didn't let them in. Kept them outside the door so they couldn't see. And I went behind and I did this. Not perfect, guys. Here's the humanity side to me when I was a little boy. I spit in the sugar. As soon as I spit in the sugar, my mom walks in and sees me do it. Nonetheless, to tell you, I did get some corporal punishment back in that day when we got tails whipped, and it was very effective. Do I necessarily think that you have to do it now? I'm kind of, because I see when people don't do it, but also know there's an in-between mix of higher way to do things. But it was effective for me because even after I got the butt whipping, went in the room, my cousin was visiting from another state. He was staying the summer with us. He went in the room with me and he was looking at me, and I just busted out laughing. What am I saying is I was in denial by not taking responsibility at 10 because I got angry with another child as a child. The immaturity, the denial, immaturity is trying what I'm stressing. But take this, if you use this in spiritual consciousness, how much you would ham hock your growth. You would stunt it. You're talking about the stunting. Like they used to say in hip hop song, you're talking about stunting your growth. The kind they used to say, the old folks used to tell us, no, you can't have coffee, it will stunt your growth. Remember the wild stuff we used to get told by people or our family members, you can't do this or whatever, or this will happen to you, or what some of the stories. But anyways, just denials. In a place, don't deny who you are, especially if you're going to the next level. The higher levels, I'm going to close with this, they don't look at you as stuck in a 3D level as a human. They look at you as source, stuck in matter, and kind of lost in matter. But there's a process they get, but they recognize you as source. Even though you went to the lower, bodified into matter, and stuck in matter. So just think about this. The quickest way to not to really actually pull a trickster on yourself is denial. This is D-Boy, West Coast Uncensored. We will talk soon. I appreciate you guys. Like, share, and comment. And you'll see this on the page because when I edit this, you're going to see all the screen stuff. But I do appreciate you. I appreciate the new people. I ask to share. If you know other people that would be really dig this, it would be on their walk. Please share with them. Share with them. Share with them. All right. Have a great day.